Welcome back to another episode of the Ed Goose Wakeford Sportscast. I am your host, Danny Legoose, and join me as my co-host.
Ben Wakeford, everyone, welcome back.
Yeah, last episode we did the AFC North NFL draft grades. We're going to the AFC East today. And there's some pretty interesting grades to be given out, isn't there, Ben?
Yeah, I think this division is definitely going to be one of the most interesting now with the moving on of Tom Brady and also the Dolphins having significant draft capital this year and also next year. So it should be a good video, this one.
So speaking of the Dolphins, should we go straight in with
the
team from Florida?
Yeah, straight in. You go for it, mate. You start us off.
So I gave the Miami Dolphins a positive B+, pushing to an A-. I like the fact they had a lot of picks. It was difficult for them to go. Well, I suppose when you have a lot of picks, it could go very wrong very quickly if you keep reaching. They've been stocking up picks for a long time. Maybe they could have used those picks to trade back and get some more capital next year. But they drafted 6 players in the first 3 rounds and landed the big boy, Tua Tagovailoa at 5, one of the best prospects in this year's class. Although there's injury concerns about his hip while he's at Alabama, a lot of injuries, he's a really good pickup as a franchise quarterback, and I think they're really happy to have him at 5.
Yeah, I think everyone kind of at the start of last season was saying that they were tanking for Tua, trying to get the number 1 pick. So getting him at 5, obviously with those injury issues, getting him at 5 is amazing, but he does obviously have those injury issues. I think they got the franchise quarterback, and that was the main kind of aim of the draft this year for the Miami Dolphins. So I thought they did really well in that pick. And then, the two later on picks in the first round with Austin Jackson, the offensive tackle from USC, I kind of see that as a little bit of a reach, but obviously offensive tackle is needed quite a lot. So I think in terms of this pick, I don't see it as a bad pick at all. And then Noah, I can't really say his second name, but I called him Igney. Noah Igney from the cornerback from Auburn. I didn't want to butcher his name. I think, he's solid. I think behind, obviously, there's 2 other guys they have on the roster, Byron Jones and Xavier Howard. So I think put Noah Igney in the slot, and then you've got a good little trio there, I think. I also gave him a minus. Sorry, I gave him an A-. So a little bit. Yeah.
2 positive grades. Yeah, I agree. Jackson was a reach, but you look at the tackles that were taken above him, he is the next best option.
Yeah, I think so.
I think the bigger reach here is Igbino Gene. That's my best attempt at his name. The cornerback from Auburn.
Igninogany or something like that.
Yeah, he was definitely a reach. I don't think he came up in many people's draft boards as a first-round pick. He certainly didn't come up in ours.
No, yeah.
And then in the next round, they added another tackle in Robert Hunt from Louisiana, and a player I was really high on, who early on in the season I thought would be a first-round pick in Raekwon Davis, the defensive tackle from Auburn.
Yeah, I think the second round they nailed it once again. I think Robert Hunt is probably going to be someone who's going to slide in and play a bit of guard for the Dolphins, which is, I think, an instant improvement on what they had last season. And then, as you say, Raekwon Davis, those Alabama boys, they're big in the trenches. They can get some serious hard work done right in there. So I think, 2 more solid picks in the second round. I think the Dolphins nailed it this year.
Yes, I like mentioned, really like the Raekwon Davis pick. They really showed off in the second round. They had sort of a master plan of building tough, physical, powerful players and adding them to their team. And then in the third round, drafted the safety Brandon Jones, who is a dog. He is a dog. He will play through pain, baby. I like those. I like the mid-round picks from the Miami Dolphins, which I think pushed out from a B to a B+, because like we did say, the first round there were 2 reaches, realistically.
Yeah, I think your draft grade, pretty solid draft grade, but I think I gave them an A- just purely on addressing needs realistically, especially in the first round with a quarterback and offensive tackle. And then also the value they got in the second round, I thought that deserved an A-.
Yeah, so we'll move on to the New York Jets. So what grade did you give them? I gave the Dolphins a B+, you gave them an A-. It'll be interesting to see where we are on the New York Jets.
For the Jets, I thought they had, one of the best drafts in the whole NFL. Once again, I thought they smashed it. I gave them an A. What did you give them?
Yeah, I gave him an A minus.
Yeah,
One grade better than the Miami Dolphins. Yeah, look, there's not much more you can say really, apart from they did smash it out of the park. They had the 11th pick. They needed to protect Sam Darnold. They got one of the best offensive tackles in the draft in Mekhi Becton.
yeah.
He landed around what I thought he would, so a good value pick for the New York Jets.
Mhm.
And like I mentioned, a lot of tackles got taken before him, so he's going to help that. Probably one of the worst offensive lines in the league, if not the worst.
Yeah, talking of Mekhi Becton, I mean, he's a huge boy. He's 6'5", 370 odd pounds. I mean, he's quite raw, I think, coming into the league this year. But I mean, his pure size and his athleticism is going to help him out, no doubt, in protecting Sam Darnold. I think that's a pretty good pick, smash out of the park. And the second round, I think Denzel Mims bagging him in the second round is an absolute steal.
Yeah, I think Mims could be the sneaky good player, especially receiver in this year's draft. I mean, they lost Robbie Anderson in free agency and Quincy Nunn was out for the season, so they need help with Sam Darnold on the outside, not just on the O-line. They addressed both. So they had two picks in the third round, Ashton Davis, the safety from California, and Jabari Zuniga, an edge rusher from Florida. I mean, Davis is a freakishly good athlete, so he'll be a name to watch if they pair him with Jamal Adams at safety, if they choose to keep the superstar Jamal Adams.
I think in terms of Davis, they've obviously got Marcus May and Jamal Adams, as you said. So maybe I don't know what kind of position he's going to play, but he was definitely a borderline first round talent this year. But because of medical issues, teams obviously because of the whole coronavirus, teams can't fly players out to the facilities and make sure they're all 100% medically. So he fell a bit. I think that's the main reason. And Zuniga, as you say, it could be a bit of a reach, but third round pick, you don't really expect them to do too much in their first few years. Probably be a special teams player and had a bit of depth on that edge rushing side of things. So I think it's another decent pick. And then I think in the fifth round they took Bryce Hall, the cornerback from Virginia, which is excellent value. I think him falling all the way to the fifth round, the Jets kind of smashed it.
Yeah, some people were really high on Bryce Hall throughout the season. I'm surprised he fell that far
Yeah,
into
me
the
too.
fifth round, and the Jets got a good guy there in a round where let's just say other teams in this division took some interesting players in the fifth round, but we'll get onto that.
Yeah.
So we'll go on to the Buffalo Bills.
Yeah.
What grade did you give the Buffalo Bills?
Well, I graded the Bills mainly for what they did with their first round pick. I gave them a B. Obviously, they didn't have a first round pick this year, but they traded it for Stephon Diggs. So I think that's kind of come into mind in terms of my grading. But the picks, I don't really rate them too highly. What did you give them?
Yeah, exactly like you. I gave them a B. They
Yeah.
traded the first round pick for the superstar Stephon Diggs. Going to be great help for Josh Allen on the outside. Adds another weapon.
Yeah.
And if you would say they would have drafted somebody who can give you the talent Stephon Diggs, that's a first round pick well spent. He's still young, still got a lot to learn. So yeah, I like the Bills' value for that first round pick getting Stephon Diggs from Minnesota.
Yeah, and then I think in the second round, obviously they got AJ Epinesa, who we had as a first round talent. Big need for that Buffalo Bills defense is a bit of interior pass rush. I think he's more of a 3-4 defensive end more than a 4-3 defensive end because he's quite on the bigger side. But he definitely brings a bit more physicality to that already incredible defense for the Buffalo Bills. And he's a big boy, so get him in the trenches. He's going to do some damage.
Yeah, I mean, that pick was absolutely quality. I had him as a mid-first round guy. I had the Atlanta Falcons taking him in the first round. He falls all the way to the late second round, and he does fill Buffalo's top need and is one of the best value picks in the draft. They ended up in the next round with another good running back to pair with Devin Singletary and Zach Moss from Utah in the third round.
Yeah, go Utes.
Are you big on Zach Moss? Because from what I've seen of him, I think they could have gone somewhere else with this pick.
Hey, man. I mean, they definitely had other needs, but Zach Moss, downhill punishing runner, he's going to pair brilliantly with Devin Singletary. I think he was definitely one of the best players in college football last year, along with Tyler Huntley, the quarterback at Utah. Those two brought them all onto the edge of the college football playoff on their backs. They were incredible. They're an incredible pair, and I think in the third round, it's definitely a good kind of area for Zach Moss to go here in the third round. But the Bills have other needs. I mean, They have cornerback needs.
Mm.
They have other needs along the team. So maybe this is just a bit of a luxury pick, really. Taking
I mean, that's the area where I see where they should have gone cornerback. They need to help Tre'Davious White, and Josh Norman is old and on a 1-year deal. They could have gone with somebody younger.
Yeah.
In the 4th round, they ended up drafting Gabriel Davis, the wide receiver from UCF.
Yeah.
I mean, this guy has the size and catch radius to snag Allen's throws downfield, and we know how strong Josh Allen's arm is.
Yeah.
And then in the 5th round, they drafted your favourite player, Jake Fromm, the quarterback from Georgia, which is going to prove an interesting backup option for Josh Allen.
Yeah, just on Davis there, the wide receiver. I mean, the size and athleticism you mentioned. He's a big boy, and obviously Josh Allen can be slightly inaccurate sometimes. So having that big catch radius could be really handy. And then obviously Jake Fromm. You know, I've said my piece about him on this channel. You know, I don't think he was the best quarterback coming into the draft. And I think 5th round kind of about a right spot to him. You know, about the right spot. I'm happy he got drafted. I'm happy for the guy. You know, get paid, get that payday, good stuff.
Absolutely, and if Allen does get injured, then Jake Fromm is.
I mean,
right
he's not going to do much. He's got a busy day handing the ball off.
We'll move on to the last team in the AFC East, and I mean, in last episode we did the Pittsburgh Steelers. Last they got by far the worst grade.
Yeah,
and I can sense in this one the last team we're going to do is going to get the worst grade. What did you give the New England Patriots, the Evil Empire?
I gave them a D-. I didn't like their draft at all, really.
Yeah, there's going to be some dislikes in this video. I gave them an F.
We're going to get all the Patriots haters.
I gave them an F. Look, they've lost Tom Brady, Carl Van Noy, Jamie Collins, and other key pieces, and didn't improve at all. They're going to start the season with Jared Stidham as quarterback with one actual weapon, Julian Edelman, who plays slot. I mean, they moved back out the 1st round to acquire more capital this year and next year, which was probably the right thing to do. But what they did in the 2nd round,
yikes!
Not great.
I mean,
not great.
Kyle Duggar he's from Lenoir Ryan. I've never heard of it before.
Lenoir
Ryan. I think so, yeah. I mean, maybe Belichick's seen the next whatever, I don't know.
Next Devin McCourty.
Yeah, the next best thing at safety. But geez, I mean, there's the amount of good players you could have got in the 2nd round. Especially we've been listed a few today. I mean, and they've gone with Kyle Duggar and then Josh Uche, he's an okay prospect from Michigan, but you know, he's nothing special really, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, you see, we talked about players like AJ Epineza going in the late 2nd round. Why didn't New England take him?
Yeah,
I mean, I see both guys that they took in the 2nd round with reaches, and then they drafted 2 tight ends
back to back,
and they traded up for both of them.
Oh mate.
They drafted Anthony Jennings, an edge rusher from Alabama, which I like the pick. I would have preferred AJ Epineza in the 2nd round. And then the pick of all picks, in the 5th round, with so many needs on this team, it was a typical arrogant Bill Belichick move. And they drafted a kicker. They draft a kicker in the 5th round when they have so many needs. Yeah,
I think I just literally wrote down kicker in the 5th, question mark, yikes. That's all you have to know, really. It's just a major. It just seems like such a bad idea. You can get kickers from anywhere, man. You can get kickers from literally anywhere.
I got given Bill Belichick's draft test. I wrote F. See me on it. I need you to see me later. There's got to be words.
That dog must have put in some dodgy picks.
I can't believe how many weapons they've lost, and they failed to replace a single one of them. They weren't active in free agency. Okay, maybe they'll do something in the draft. Bill. This is so unlikely, but let's just admit it. Bill Belichick's just not very good at drafts.
I mean, I don't know. We'll see. We might be completely wrong. We might be made to eat our words on this one.
But they get a big fat F from me.
I mean, thing is, from this draft, you can tell they're just going to run the ball and play defense.
Yeah. Oh, they're not going to trust Jared Stidham.
They took 2 tight ends who are obviously just going to be blocking tight ends, really. That running game is going to have to be the most important thing to them. And if they can't run the ball with Sonny Michel, then I mean, they're going to be bottom of this division, in my opinion.
Because the other teams in this division have made some really positive, good picks. All of them are above a B for me.
Yeah, it's also looking at the free agency of the other teams as well. They've done really well, as we said. Buffalo traded for Stephon Diggs. I mean, Patriots are really going to struggle this year, in my opinion. This draft just didn't help them at all.
So thank you for watching the AFC East edition of the 2020 NFL Draft Grades. We'll be doing the AFC South next, which will be interesting. We hope you've enjoyed this episode. Leave a like, comment, and tell us why we're wrong down below. We love the interaction.
Yeah, everyone, like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you again next time.
We'll see you next episode. Thank you for watching.